Hi guys, it is your girls Rhymeshe and it is our first visual episode. What to do, baby? It is your favorite girl, and I said favorite girl, Teeyana Aromi in the building.
It's myself, Rhymeshe.
It's me, Mimi.
And you will notice there is someone, our fourth girl band member, on our couch. It is Jodeci.
Hey guys.
Oh my gosh. So she is a music and talent manager. She is responsible for discovering and pushing a lot of our faves. But I'm gonna kick it to you and let you introduce yourself fully, let people know what you've done and what you're doing.
Oh, thanks guys. So hey everyone, I'm Jodeci. I am a junior music and talent manager over at Viva UK. I'm a breakfast presenter at Represent Radio, and I'm just here just trying to push forwards emerging talent, you know, help the people them, and just good music. That's what it's all about, isn't it, really?
Yes. So I want to talk about a little bit about your journey so people really know who you are, where you started, why you started, and all that good stuff.
Okay, so I think went uni, and I think for like most people, you leave uni and you're like, oh, so what's next?
Yeah, honestly.
So no one's gonna help me. There's no direction.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like I always had love for music. Like growing up, I come from a very like strong music influenced house. Like at home, always played Choice FM, MTV Base, The Lick, Channel U, and I grew up on strong sounds. So I always loved music. But I think there's no direct route into getting into the actual music industry, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, and I struggled with. Stumbled across Represent Radio, started like doing like BA jobs there. Then I got offered a show, started doing my show there. And I think along the way, I was like, let me just learn as much as possible. So I went into like radio PR, then I went into a little bit of like artist management, and then fast forward, I am now Vivo.
Yes, Black woman doing bits. So what did you study at uni?
So I studied journalism and media communications. So they had like courses like music management in there, like a bit of PR and stuff. But my course didn't teach me no practical skills whatsoever.
The ghetto.
That's the real go.
So how long have you been in the industry, like roughly?
So I'd say I properly started to get into it like 2016. So it's the last like 4 years of just like back to back, a lot of free work.
You were doing bit like I noticed you a lot, and I was like, this girl's always doing bits, and you were like your face was everywhere, but in a good way.
Yeah.
But 4 years, that's really good. You said a lot of free work as well.
A lot of free work.
How do you do that though? Because I feel like for me, even like there's certain times I have to do free things. It's just like, when is it gonna be a time where I never do free work?
I hear you 100%. I think, do you know what it was? I was never against keeping it like a side hustle or like a financial job that could support me through my day-to-days. I knew that I would always have food at like home and stuff like that.
There's rice at home.
100%. So like I always kept like a side job and working in retail, and I worked in John Lewis for those like last like probably like 4 years once I left uni and stuff. As part-time, and I just kept on like doing free work. So like Represents like voluntary based. Like when I worked with Link Up, that was voluntary based as well. So I think I was just doing a lot of free work until I got scouted to work in artist management, and that was my first paid job. Prior to that, it's all free. Don't get twisted. Don't let Instagram fool you. It was free. It was free.
You said you can relate to that.
Yeah, because it's like, do you get like, oh my gosh, you're doing so well, you're doing amazing, It's like, okay,
that's not showing in my bank account.
Some
funds.
100%.
And it's like, when do you feel like you're gonna start appreciating your love for music in a sense of like, I love it, I have a passion for it. When will I see the results and all that stuff back?
Yeah.
Like, what would you say?
Do you know what? I feel like you know in your gut. I think you just maintaining that you know your value through everything is the most important thing. Because a lot of times I strongly believe in the statement, rob this England, where it's like these opportunities, like rob them, build up your portfolio, show what you have to show on Instagram to feed these people what they need to see in it. And then eventually we'll get to a point where you have to be like, oh, this is no longer free anymore. I've got my experience, I've got my portfolio. He's throwing my check.
Run me my money.
My shmoneys.
But you said you got scouted.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So basically what had happened is, because I was at Represent for such a long time, I've always been focused on like showcasing UK talent and producers, international producers. At the time, I found like a duo on SoundCloud called Banks and Ranks. They're in Montreal, Canada, and they had like silly numbers on like SoundCloud and stuff. But I had them on my show as a guest. And then a year later, their management company reached out to me and asked if I could like start working with them and stuff, part of that management company, and that's how that happened.
That's so good. That's why it's so good to like be connected. And was that a relationship that you kind of like nurtured, or
No, not at all. I done the phone interview. There was no communications after that. It was a random email I got a year later that was like, "Oh, are you interested in artist management?" And I was like, okay, like, and I went to talk, like, little meeting stuff, and I was like, okay, this seems really cool. And then I done that, yeah.
That's so good though. It sounds like you planted a seed, and I think a lot of people, when they're connecting with people, they want quick results, and it's like, you never know, like in a year time, in 2 years, and even in 5 years, you'll just pop up in someone's mind, and that's your break.
Yeah.
That is your opportunity. But you as a talent manager now, what is a talent manager for anyone who doesn't know?
So I feel like predominantly it kind of varies in what type of fields it is. Working over where I work at the moment, like our job is to just nurture the relationships, like with labels, with managers, talent and stuff. Nurture those relationships, making sure they get the best that they can get out of the platform and stuff, and like the opportunities that we offer. But even in like artist management, it's predominantly looking after them day to day. Like artist management is a very heavy role, and I don't think people understand how heavy it is. You deal with their personal issues, you deal with like their like finances, and you deal with all these opportunities, and you go on a roller coaster with them. So it does vary in each field, but it's just basically like nurturing those relationships and making sure talent is always a priority and they're always good.
What does nurturing a relationship look like? Because I think that's something I get stuck with. Like when people are like, oh, make sure you like, because everyone, I feel like it's easy to network, but to actually keep a relationship and maintain it, it can suck your life, especially if you're trying to maintain it with so many people.
100%.
What is like the best? And I think for artists as well, I think it's so important for them to nurture relationships. I think that's just something they don't understand.
Definitely.
Everyone's just so focused on the music, and everyone forgets the business and the skills that you need to kind of like keep things going. So like, how would we've connected. How do we nurture each other?
How we nurture each other. I love each other. Basically, I think it's just about keeping conversations open, like supporting each other. And I think it's also great to just form proper, like, genuine relationships. One thing that I was very new from the get-go coming into this, I was like, I'm not going to beg friend with nobody. I'm going to believe in my craft. Like, when people are jumping on hypes of, like, certain cool people, I wasn't on it. Like, I stayed at home. There was Rice at home. There was a lot of events that I didn't go to. And maybe I would have got opportunities from them. But either way, like, I feel like everyone has their own paths. So just form those genuine relationships with people. And just connect when you can. See where you can collab. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think those are the best relationships. And you kind of reap stuff naturally from that.
Yeah. So, like, if someone wanted to reach out to you and, like, get noticed by a talent manager, because I feel like people underestimate, because I have talent managers in TV, and people like, no one even mentions them, but they're such an important, like, I get my jobs always because of my talent manager, and I'm just like, I love you so much. But I don't think people realize how important they are. So if you're trying to reach out to a talent manager or want to get noticed, what's like the best steps?
I feel like it's about having an actual portfolio that was clean. And obviously nowadays your socials is your portfolio most of the time, innit? So I felt like even when I was working in artist management, the artists that were being like signed at the time or being like talked about, their portfolio was clean. Like, you could see exactly what was happening on their socials. They had everything set up, their Spotifys and everything. Everything was well connected. They was releasing music, and they was also building up that core fan base in their areas and their towns. Because I think a lot of people want to hit the masses straight away, but if you build that sound in your area first, it will spread out naturally. So I think it's just about organically representing yourself on your socials, making sure everything is up to date music-wise. And when it comes to connecting with people, I think it's about finding the right managers and teams and labels that represent you and your sound most. Don't go for a brand because it's just big in it. Go for a sound that actually can actually help you and push you.
So what does actually like building your kind of space within your like locale actually look like?
I think it's more about kind of like, who are your fans? Like, who is your audience? How are they connecting with your music? Like, are they more like to watch your music videos? Are they more involved in your streaming side of things? Like, are they actually physically buying anything that you're selling, like on iTunes and stuff like that? I think looking at your actual analytics is a strong key in this, isn't it? Because once you find out who your fans are, you can feel like, okay, cool. Even on YouTube, you can look at your analytics and you can see who your audience is, their age group, where they're from, and what their audience retention is. And I think audience retention is like, it's a very techie word in YouTube.
It will humble you. Oh my gosh. When I see that line, I'm like, oh yeah, you lot don't want to hear me speak no more. Cool.
But do you know what though? I'm not going to lie to you. You'll be surprised that a lot of people's audience retention is actually not that strong, because nowadays, like, society's attention span is actually so short.
Horrendous.
Ish.
This is what I'm saying. So if your audience retention is low, don't be hard on yourself, because people don't even have the attention to really listen to anything and watch anything nowadays. So I think that's what it is really, and just kind of maybe starting off shows, local concerts and stuff, trying to engage with that fan base, and like build it up from there.
So you mentioned that it's good that the artists know their audience. So seeing how the UK scene is moving with Nine's number 1, Heady's number 1, Potter's number 3, Husk got number 1 beginning of the year. Do you feel like the UK rap scene, as you want to say, has mastered the formula of how to succeed because of their audience? Or
do you know what I think? I think it's a mixture of like various things. I think it's about knowing your audience, but over the years, rap has developed so much in terms of popularity. Like, back in the day, rap was predominantly in our black community as a thing. This is our sound, innit? And we were the people that were necessarily buying like things, listening to things and stuff like that. Whereas I think now it's so exposed. Like, for example, when that like Skepta done that whole crossover and stuff, and you started to see like people from middle class backgrounds in hoodies and tracksuits listening to Skepta hard, you're like, what? Because this was threatening years ago. This was something that was like, they weren't even given opportunities to like young black rappers back in the Channel U and Channel AKA days at all, innit? So I think there's been a development in the exposure in terms of the masses, and I also think they know their audiences, like they know what works and they know their sounds. And I think a lot of people tend to stick to their sound now because they know that those sounds will sell very well. Do you know what I mean? You find that a lot of artists don't really go outside their comfort zones now. They stick to that sound that sells the most for them, because that's their formula. And I think that's what it is.
But people are like, the thing about stepping out your sound is, you know, UK is bad vibes. So B Young's in the studio the other day doing drill, and everyone was complaining. It sounded so good.
I liked it,
I loved it.
Really
it sounded really, really good. But that's it, because they're not used to it. That's not his. That is not what he's known for. So people are like,
the thing is, we know him for what he is. It's now. I think it's so good that he's able to step out because he's mastered his sound.
100%.
I think it's important to master your sound, let people know who you are, and then do whatever you want.
But then I 100% agree with that. But I think that's when it comes into people buying into your music. And people go with what they're comfortable with most of the time. You don't randomly be like, one day I'm going to listen to K-pop. Do you know what I mean? Like, you tend to listen to the sounds and circulate the same music and the same sounds non-stop, don't you, as consumers, right? So I 100% agree. As an artist develops, they're going to want to see, okay, I can experiment with this and I can experiment with that. But your audience, if they don't vibe with it and they don't think mentally, I associate B Young with drill, anywhere near drill, they're thinking in my head, you're a singing guy. What are you talking about crud for?
But do you think like artists are not investing enough time into actually like connecting genuinely with their audiences, and that's why when they try something new, the audience is just not messing with it because they're not actually invested in you as an artist, they're just invested in the overall sound?
Yeah, I think that's what it is, unless you've got like a really like strong like fan base. Like, for example, people like use Stormzy as always like a good reference, right? Whereas he went from doing like, he was doing more like UK rap, he even did a little bit of grime, then he went to gospel, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you haven't really, I remember the first time I saw Stormzy in concert and I was seeing people like massive singing Blinded by Your Grace, like everyone looked different, everyone different sizes, ages, colours, everything. I thought, what? This is mental. He's got such a strong artist brand and he's learned how to master it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think many people either have the time, the team, or the capacity to actually do that.
Good team. He's got such a good team
and
behind
it plays
him.
into it.
And even Steph London, her team on point.
Yeah.
And you can see who has a very good team behind them, and you can see the people who it's just not clicking. And it's a shame though, because how many people can you go through before you find a good team?
This is it, but it's literally so hard to find nowadays. You find that even some people naturally go for their friends, like that they come up with.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's even a struggle to find that team and to find the right marketing as well. And also finances. Do you know what I mean? Are you independent? Are you signed to a label? Do you have like a part deal with a label? It's like you may have all these great concepts, but if you don't have the finances to support that marketing plan, you're then going for something that's a bit different or different off. And yeah, man, I think it is really hard for artists, and I completely agree. You should develop your sound as you naturally age within music. But then it's whether if your audiences want to hear that sound from you.
Because you know what, with the Be Young situation, I feel like he gave us a little teaser with that 808 song with Dutch. Yeah. And it showing you guys a little teaser of like, I'm featuring. And it was sweet. But I feel like it was such much of a shock, but at the same time, well, not only his audience, he has a big audience. Like, even before the launch of the Afro Beats charts and the showing, he does big numbers, and it's not just from us. Yeah. Like, as a community.
On his own channel as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, he has a big fan base, and drill right now is quick streams because everyone's on it right now. So I feel like, in sense, he gave us a teaser now with the feature. Now might give us a song, and it might be good, and it might do well. Then from that, we'll play on. Yeah. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Do you know what I mean? I heard the clip; it sounded great, innit? But I think also another thing as well is how people identify you. Like drill comes from the raw side of the streets. You know what I mean? These are real stories. If you haven't lived that life and you're jumping on a sound that was people's expression that's coming from that life and coming from that scene, then people also going to be like, you can't talk crud because you can't go from, it's like...
It's not all about talking crud now, because there's now R&B drill where people are doing love songs and love songs and stuff like that. And it's changing drill and what drill was originally about, and it's making it into, I'm listening to a drill track, but he's talking about loving a girl. It's a bit weird.
But then this is what I'm saying. But then even when you get to the masses, in a comparison, you find that with drill music, the core of drill, when people are talking about real life stories and real stuff, it sells more. Like people reach out to that more.
I feel that's a double-edged sword of being commercial though, because I feel like once the sound becomes commercial, you expect that once Stephen Middlesbrough's listening to the sound, like it's not gonna be about drillings on the roadside. It's just not gonna be that anymore. So I feel like that's kind of what's happened here. So as we transition into people charting with drill songs now, it's gonna have to get a bit more fluffy,
a bit more polished.
So if you haven't already guessed, guys, we are talking about talent management, and I have a scenario for you, ladies. Okay, so we have an artist who's been emailing loads of different platforms trying to get their music on the platform. So we're talking about people like Complex, Spotlight First, Industry Me, and their emails are essentially getting aired. So they're like, what am I doing wrong? Why are these platforms not featuring my music? So guys,
let me tell you about a very dark day
where
I received the stupidest email. I receive emails for music all the time, and sometimes it's relevant, like I'm doing a show or whatever, and then sometimes it's just like I don't have to. I'm not like on a project right now. I'm not gonna listen to this. But there was one that caught my eye. He said, "Yo, B, looking for a bad to listen to my music. Tell me if you're with it."
No, wait, no.
No, this is what he actually said.
In an email?
I'm sorry, sir.
In an email.
No, that's unacceptable.
Sent from iPhone.
Couldn't even get rid of that little bit there, no?
Good child.
Sent from iPhone.
I just want to know, did he think, do you know what? I can't wait to hear her feedback.
I'm being quirky.
Do you know that's the second time I've received an email like that. Like when I was doing casting for Rap Game.
Yeah.
The most unprofessional rappers ever. It's just like, First of all, link everything, guys. Link everything. I can't be now typing your name in YouTube. Like, it's too much for me. Make sure everything is in the email. There was another person that said, "Oh, let me know if you're fucking with it." Why does everyone say this? Let me know if you're fucking. Is this a rapper? Like that? Because I thought it was just one person, but another one was like, "Oh, let me know." And when I say just one line, nothing else, one line, that little link, I said no.
No, sir.
No,
no, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Not
So
today.
for you, like, if someone was gonna email you, like, how would you like to be emailed? Like, what's the kind of rough kind of
Not
structure?
like that.
Hopefully, we hope.
Tip number 1, not to
Let me know.
Because I'm gonna be like, nope, bias. Okay. I feel like the first thing in there is to have a press release, right? Now, obviously, you can hire someone to do it. You can actually do your own. There's loads of templates online. I feel like
on canvas.com.
Adverts,
that's a good one.
Influencer, see? Percentage.
My affiliate link is down below.
In the bio. Yeah, have that press release there. Do you know what I mean? Like, say like a little bit about yourself, your bio, where you're from, like if you've got any streaming numbers at the moment, what your socials are. Because for people like radio, like DJs, presenters, like anyone that receives your music, we want to know, okay, what am I listening to? Who am I listening to? Do you know what I mean? And all the links is there. I don't have to Google you. I don't have to YouTube search you. Everything in one place. And that's why press releases are so important, because that's what ideally what we look at. Do you know what I mean? When we receive that email. So just having that, I'd say, is number one thing. And just make sure everything works. Make sure all those links work. Make sure if you're sending it to like radio DJs or presenters, you have cleans. Please. I don't want to be cleaning all day. Huh? It's too much. Right? And just having those things, know who you're sending it to. Also, BCC. Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
Oh my God.
Because if I see you said it, oh, I love your show, and there's 55 other presenters and DJs and all types of things connected, you're lying. You're lying.
That's why your email
You're for the streets.
That is why your email
gets
getting
You're
for the streets.
100%. That's another thing as well. But I think those are like the main things. Like, be cautious of who you're sending it to. Don't say to someone, like, people spell your name wrong as well. Like, most of the time, if you know who you're sending it to, just double check too.
Bro,
I
my
love.
name is 3 letters. R-A-Y. Like, how do you get that wrong?
I love when they act like they know so much about you and they start giving the wrong information.
Oh no!
It's a lie.
Like, let's say you got nominated for something. Oh, I'm so glad that you won that award. Did you recently?
I would like to, but I didn't.
Don't sound right.
No, I love when people say, "Oh my gosh, I love your videos." I'm like, what do you like?
I love the videos.
I love your videos.
They'll tell you that you do like sports commentary or something that's like never been on your channel.
And then pretend. I know the people that pretend. It's you get just be you. Like, you don't have to be a fan of like the person. Just be you, man. I think people lie too much.
100%. 100%.
And you mentioned that you kind of like you're looking for like emerging talent, right? So do things like streaming numbers or the amount of following someone has on socials matter to you, or do you not really look at that?
No, like for me, I've come from a very underground world. Do you know what I mean? You guys will understand that when you're creating content, you don't know if someone's seeing it. Like, you don't know if you even, do you know what I mean? You're never being acknowledged. And I think because I come from that, I understand what it's like. I don't even have like a huge social following now, and that's not ever really been my goal. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, that doesn't take away from someone's value. Yeah. And I know there is a lot of people in a lot of important places that care about numbers. Fact. And that's all I've seen it. I've heard it for years. But I think you need to have someone there that actually wants to listen to grassroots music, because you can miss out on talent by disregarding someone's numbers. 100%. Do you know what I mean?
I find it weird that it's like, for me, like, even when I'm talking to producers, they'll be like, oh, what numbers are they on? But it's like, you've come from a space where that didn't even matter, and it's like, you encourage that. I would expect 100%. Like the generation that like will like know about social media so much to be about that, but to see that these people at like top levels, producers and stuff like that, saying what's their forget the rest, what's their social count on it? It's weird, because you know there's so much value in someone regardless of the numbers that's behind them.
You know, I feel like people want to do the easy work. They don't do the hard work of it no more. I feel like everyone's still like, okay, you're already sorted, you're sorted, your brand's there, so boom. No one wants to do the whole building the artist.
Yeah.
Because social
You
media
got a
made it
community? Cool.
cool. Boom.
Mhm.
You have a fan
Yeah.
base? Cool. You have a following? Boom.
You're
It's
right.
easy. It's like we need to learn how to make an artist again. We need to learn. People back in the day, 70s, 60s, they will go to the clubs and find talent. Now it's like, literally, where's TikTok?
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
Instagram?
Yeah.
Where's Grime Daily? Literally,
Yeah.
all the A&Rs just go to Grime Daily on Thursday, see something,
Ooh,
that's it.
we'll pick him up.
Yeah.
Boom. Rather than to
Yeah.
actually look at the crowd, look what's good. We need to learn how to do that again
Yeah.
because there's actual real talents right there.
So that being said, how
100%.
would someone capture your attention?
I think for me, it's just about, again, having that brand there. No matter how small you are, let me just see what you're about, innit? Even if you can't get exposure by GRM or whatever it is, it's about actually, like, let me hear your content. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've worked with, like, a few artists that I've just found on Twitter doing freestyles, and they might have a family member pop in and stuff. And I remember, like, one guy had his little niece pop into the video, and it was the most organic video ever. But I was like, oh, sick. Like, let me get you on the show and let me, you know, get you, help you get your Vivo channel. And do you know what I mean? It's all about those moments there. I think I want to see what you're about. If you're a music artist, let me hear your music. I don't want 10 random posts, quotes, cars, whatever you've got on your page. Your mandem, your boys, whatever, your girl, that's all nice. Where is your music on your page?
That is it, you know. Because like a lot of people that were sending like their applications, I'll go on their Instagram, no music.
This is what
You
I'm
say you
saying.
love music, but you've got no music on your Instagram. No
Doesn't
freestyle,
make
no
sense.
you in the studio. It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and release, like, even if you can't afford to do a music video right now or whatever it is, create something with the resources that you do have and constantly update. Don't leave 6 months in between. If you're trying to get seen, create freestyles, drop one every Thursday, create your own, like, kind of, you know, little series or something. And that's what I want to see. Yeah.
We all have a phone.
100%. I want to see that hunger. Yeah, exactly.
I remember her Instagram, like I proper followed her. She literally just always had videos out in her room, covers.
100%. And look at the people like that. Even like Morgan Smith, who's just released like her EP, Alien and stuff, and toured the Rudimental. Yeah. All this stuff. We remember her Instagram covers.
Yeah.
She was dropping them. Like, don't be scared to be like, no one's liking it or no one's commenting. Like, I want to see that hunger. Like, let's see what you're working with. And that's what's important.
100%. Hey guys, you know, this is Track of the Week, and let's get it started.
Do you want to go first? Because you always go first.
No, but okay. Well, this song is legendary. It's the best. It is unwritten by Natasha Benefield. Did I say his name right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I think I didn't say her name right, you know?
That's a classic.
That's a
classic.
Okay, so come to war. I see you.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like you should go.
Okay, so my track of the week is by Birdie. She's finally back. Everyone who knows me knows I'm a massive Birdie fan. And the song is called If This Is It Now.
Mama's still standing strong.
Yeah.
I hate her.
I am gonna take it all the way back here. Evanescence, Bring Me to Life.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wake me up! Wake me up inside! Save me! Nothing got me. Oh my gosh, I told you lot, my music taste is weird. Like Fall Out Boy, yes.
What?
Avril Lavigne?
Yes.
Do you remember Tattoo?
Oh!
All the things you said, all the things you said.
Running through my head. This is not enough. I feel like I'm on top now. Okay, guys.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Okay, my track of the week is from a guy called Scribs Riley, producer, Grammy-winning producer,
Don't forget
two times. Comes from East London. He had a song called East Side, which is his debut single, was sick. Then he dropped Mandy, Melodies on top.
Oh.
And he's emerging as well.
Have you heard the live?
I feel like you lot got knocked
The
out.
live.
the live that just dropped. Oh my god.
Fantastic. I know he has a lot of things coming, like a lot of magic coming. So
Nice.
Oh.
Production, visuals.
His visuals are always
mad.
top notch.
Mad.
Top notch.
Oh, who's gonna win this?
You know what? I want to take my one. Throw it away.
I feel like it's me and you.
I feel like it will clash.
I love how you didn't even like regard my song. Imagine. Are you seeing these haters? Are you seeing
Did I not knock her out before? I knocked her out already, guys. I knocked her out. You and Bro Parody can stay over there.
Wow.
Bye, Brody. Bye-bye.
Come
Okay, you
on.
guys can. Okay, out of
Okay.
me and sis,
Think
who?
about, you know,
I give you nostalgia.
I'm giving you emerging UK representation here.
You know what? Like, it's I'm always down with the emerging representation. So sorry, sis. Thank you, Ray.
Me.
Okay.
I'm going with Ray. I'm backing Ray on this one. Yeah, like
Team UK.
Okay, Jodeci won.
Thank you, guys. Scripps Riley is sick though.
He
You guys
is.
must be
He is.
100%.
We cannot lie about that. But oh my gosh, is this the end of the show? We've come to that.
That's
Thank you
fine.
so much for coming
Thank
through.
you, guys.
Thank you.
You guys are killing it.
We're trying.
Proud of
We're
you.
trying.
First episode.
Oh my gosh.
Very proud.
Where can
Well
people
done,
find you?
well
Where
done.
can the people find you?
Yes, where can the people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Josie Chin on like all my socials and stuff.
Is that your real last name?
My second last name.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
it's that just Jamaican Chinese girl.
No.
We mix up in Jamaica. We mix up in Jamaica. But yeah, you can find me on all my socials there and stuff. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to what the rest of the year brings.
Hopefully it's a good one. Jesus, please come down.
Amen.
But yes, guys, make sure you follow us on Rhymeshe Pod and Rhymeshe. Make sure you're hashtagging Rhymeshe when you're talking about the conversations. Where can everyone find us?
You can find me at RaySangXOXO on all socials.
You can find me on my Twitter, MDAIXO, my Instagram, Mimi the Music Blogger.
And you can find me at Teeyana Aromi, TeeyanAAROMI.
We out.
We don't have our outro song. You're about to lose your job. You're about to lose